So here's Hillary Clinton worried about the state gaining more power, worried about the Supreme Court, right-wing extremism in the Supreme Court. Let's just go through it. And
Sure.
they put this teleprompter
let her
way
speak for
too
herself.
high. She's looking up to God in this fucking video.
She's got to do like me and try and put the camera at the angle of the computer where you're at least.
Maybe
it's not always perfect.
Maybe she's actually in hell and is looking up and is like, I'm still giving speeches from down here. I mean, I'm the CEO.
This kind of reminds me of like V for Vendetta, like Mr. Creedy, whatever his name was, the totalitarian leader of England, like on the big screen, like the big face. Yeah. This is kind of what this reminds me of too.
Maybe it's a backdrop and they fucking pulled her out of her cell from Guantanamo and you're like, you're going to say this.
This could be her lizard pod or something like that. So let's see what, what the old battle axe here has to say.
Hello, indivisibles. I'm here to highlight something that is keeping me up at night. And I know this group.
All right, let's just stop there already. I mean, like, how can you even watch this and pretend that that's some sort of authentic behavior? Hello, individuals. Like, it's just so fucking phony, just right off the bat. She hasn't even said anything yet. And it's just exuding phoniness.
At least she's not falling asleep or started by saying goodnight.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right. So, 1 point for Hillary. She didn't say okay.
Hello, everyone. She's doing okay everyone. So far.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, by today's standards, she's doing pretty good. All right.
Really understands what I'm about to say. I know we're all focused on the 2022 midterm elections, and they are incredibly important. But we also have to look ahead, because you know what? Our opponents certainly are. Right-wing extremists already have a plan to literally steal the next presidential election. And they're not making a secret of it. The right-wing controlled Supreme Court may be poised to rule on giving state legislatures, yes, you heard me that correctly, state legislatures the power to overturn presidential elections. Just think, if that happens, the 2024 presidential election could be decided not by the popular vote or even by the anachronistic electoral college.
All right.
Who she's a part of. She is part of the electoral college.
She just insinuated, she tried to like backtrack real quick, but she just insinuated that the presidential election is decided by the popular vote. It never, ever has been.
No.
Ever.
No.
But she tried to somehow pass that off as if it has. And then she kind of like,
because that's her point of view. She wants one of her policies is to get rid of the electoral college and make the election a popularity race.
Yeah, by the popular vote, which I used to be a proponent of back in the day, but now I hate democracy, so I think it's not such a good idea. Let's see what else she has.
And she's also scared of the state having more power.
Yeah,
the federal government.
Correct.
Federal government's going to lose a little bit of power.
Correct.
The state government's going to gain some power.
They hate the idea of decentralization, as we've spoken about on the show many, many times, right? I mean, America is supposed to be a republic of states, not a democracy. It's supposed to be a republic. And the states are supposed to be kind of like their own little countries that have a say. But no, these people, they want a more centralized, strong federal government that has the final say and rule on everything.
Because I'm sorry to interrupt you, but because they're afraid people vote with their feet. But if there's centralized power and the federal government has blanket, what?
Yeah, right. It wouldn't matter.
It wouldn't matter where you go. You're trapped no matter what.
Yeah, right. The whole country is now Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
If they got their way.
Chicago and California and L.A. start doing fucking terrible because of all their piss poor policies. And everybody starts moving to Tennessee and Florida and Texas, which they basically already are. But now only Texas has power over them. We can't allow that.
Yep. All right. Let's see what she's got to say.
But by state legislatures, many of them Republican controlled. But there's also good news in the face of this very real threat to democracy. Indivisible has launched Crush the Coup, to make sure we're ready to defend democracy in 2024. They've put together a list of critical races in 6 key states and how you can get involved. Will you support Crush the Coup by donating to indivisible and state legislatures?
It's interesting, right? She says they've put together a list of 6 critical races in 6 places in the country and how you can get involved to get involved in them, right? So what does that exactly, what does she mean? 6 races are going to definitely be 6 critical local races. Right now, theoretically, the promise of our country is that the local population votes for their representative to then go to Congress or wherever to then represent them to the rest of the body. She's at the same time while saying that people are looking to overthrow our democracy and whatever and rig the election. She is advertising an organization that is calling on other people who don't live in those localities to get involved in those local races to influence them, tell people who to vote for, promote maybe for them, whatever. So at the same time, when she's saying people are going to, overthrow the election, she's calling for people to get involved in elections that have nothing to do, in it. Like, let me give you an example. Like she's basically sending out the word to some left-wing California Antifa member, hey, go to Pennsylvania and make sure you get involved in the Fetterman Dr. Oz election and make sure you cause a ruckus there and make sure people know that they should vote for Dr. Oz, right? That is exactly what she's saying other people are trying to do, right? If you're some California Antifa member, you have no business going to Pennsylvania and getting involved in Oz Fetterman because you don't live there. It's a local election. But that's what she is advocating for while telling you that's what the other side is doing. In a sense.
Legislature candidates. Each of these races is highly competitive, and your dollars could very well decide the winners and the winner of the next presidential election. This could not be more important or more urgent.
So it's interesting.
Aren't you inspired?
It's funny that she's so concerned about the Republican-controlled Supreme Court. But if we had their way, they would pack the court just enough so it would be a Democrat-controlled Supreme Court, and then it wouldn't be an issue
anymore.
These are the
not fascist people.
Yeah.
Again, that just also proves my point about the whole system is fucking flawed, right?
Yeah,
and we've made that point on this podcast many times. It's like, why do you want to pack the court? Because you want people in there who agree with your ideology. And why is the court not doing what you want now? It's because the court, majority of it, doesn't agree with your ideology.
Yeah,
they agree with another ideology. So please stop selling me on the fucking thing that the court is impartial, because that's a farce. It's not, never has been, never will be. So please stop pretending like it is. The scales of justice are blind like the statue. It's a fucking lie.